Hello everybody, this is Matt, N2YCK. You'll know me from eBay, a lot of hamfests like Dayton, Ohio. I'm the largest Bird Wattmeter dealer in the world for pre-owned, and I do have some new stuff in stock. I wanted to explain the different type of meters. A lot of people don't know the difference between a 43, 43P, 4314B, the 4431, 4431 with a peak kit in it, which is really handy. Bird doesn't even know that you could do that. 4304A, which is a good meter, and the 4410A. This one here, the 4304, comes in different styles over the years, and there's copycats out there. And I'll be showing the other ones in the back. But let's start with the 43. This is a typical 43. It comes in different type of models. It was made in 1943. A lot of people don't know, but I actually had number 3 that I sold a while back ago, and it was stamped in 1943 when it was built. It had other meters stamped on top of it in the 40s that were starting to get made by the military. So this is your typical 43. It takes standard elements. Here's a bunch of 100As. You go by the frequency and the wattage that you want, and you stick it in here. We're not going to get into how it works, but we're going to get into the different models. This is your 43 right here. This is a fairly newer one. A lot of them have an older plate on there, which I'm going to show you next, which is the 43P. And the difference is the 43P has a peak kit in it. This is the 4300, which is your standard one that's made by Bird. There's other aftermarket kits out there that you can throw in here that has multipliers 2 times and 5 times, which is kind of nice. This is a 43P. And this will be able to turn on and off, and then you can read peak when you wish. This is the best of the 43 style, which is the 4314B. This one here is much more smoother and rugged. So if you're a tech and you're looking for high performance and really good accuracy, the 4314B is the way to go. Most people don't want to spend this type of money, so to go in off on the 43P. But if you got a few extra bucks to spend, the 4314B is the way to go. I think these retail brand new like over $1,100, something crazy. I sell them for around, I think, $400, $500, somewhere around there. Yeah, this unit here takes 2 batteries, 2 9-volts, and or you can use a wall wart, versus the 43P doesn't give you the option of a wall wart. You would have to make that yourself. For the technicians out there, Bird makes additions that you can put on the 43. So if you have a 43 and you have a scope that you want to hook up to, and you want to see how the modulation, see if you're flat top, you can hook a unit onto the side of this, which looks like this. This is basically a large QC connector with a tap on, or a tap here, and this is your adjuster for your attenuation. And you would take your QC connector out, throw it in here, put your QC connector here with these larger bolts, and now you can tap off the side. More of an expensive way to go. It's an option, and it's fixed from 20 to 1,000. There's also elements that you can put in here, but kind of limited where you can go. Then you won't be able to read your wattage. Here you'll be able to put an element in, read your wattage, and fix your attenuation for your scope. This unit solves all that problem where you don't need all that nonsense. Right here is your tap, and the tap connects right to the bottom of the line section. This is your adjustment right here. So you can read watts, everything's built in, there's no ripple effect, you're not going to lose anything because you're right off the QC connector, and you don't have this in line. A little more expensive. I think these retail around $1,000 or so or more. And this is the way to go for technicians that are looking for AVG wattage and to be able to sample what their modulation is and what things look like in their line. If you need PEP, the 4300 PEP board does not fit in this unit, but I make a PEP kit that's really nice. It saves you money in the long run because it also has a multiplier built into it. So you turn that on, you got your peak watts now, you can multiply your elements so you don't have to keep swapping them in and out. You've got your adjustment, you got your tap on the side so you can see your modulation and everything. And this is what most techs, at least real techs, would use on their bench. They wouldn't use a 43, they wouldn't use a 43P, but someone's hardcore technician, they're going to use the 4331. That's the 43 line right here. This all takes the same elements. This all take 43 elements. Now we're going to go into the fixed market, which is 4304. Over the years, Bird has changed. This is the original 4304. Inside here, there's a line section, and there's 2 taps. Very hard to ever calibrate. Most people can't. A technician wouldn't use this. This would be more of a ham operator or a CBer. Is not going to run any more than 500 watts and is looking for a decent relative watt meter. And here you go. It's no PEP, it's AVG, and it works pretty good. It's a very good unit. But The case isn't like you see in the 43 style. This is the older model. Eventually, what happened was a company called Telewave came out. Telewave made this unit here. This unit here is really nice. Much thicker, much rugged. Everything is kind of like silk screen. It's smooth. Just a heavier belt meter where if you hook your jumper cable up to it, it won't push this thing around the bench. Versus this thing is kind of light. This thing here is a little bit heavier. Well, Bird caught on and said, hey, we can't be outdone by a company like this. We've got to upgrade our 4304. Bird came out with the 4304A. This is a newer version here. It's the same as this. It reads the same wattage, the same frequency range. It's just got now a nicer meter in it. It's in a heavy duty case. It's heavier than Telewave, less brittle. It has an element on the outside. This is fixed. You're not going to change this and put a 43. You do that, it's going to rerun of the aught. This is a 20-aught meter. Very, very sensitive. Bird has a 30-aught in the 43s. Still a sensitive meter, but 20-aught, real sensitive. Telewave, what they did is they pretty much copied this right here because they just have a line section with a crude version of fixed elements inside that are very hard to calibrate. Not very good. Once it's calibrated, they're good for a very long time as long as you're not being, shoved in the back of a trunk in different weather and whatnot. Telewave, very expensive meter, very crude line section, not an idea thing to use. Bird, they were like, well, we can outdo that. They have the typical 43 line section. They've got an element here that you can turn like this. No extra switches for forward, reverse to brake eventually, because switches wear out after a while. Elements calibrated, last a long time. It's just a better system. Very nice. Less crude, built better. The other thing about this is Bird sells parts for this and can ship them to you versus Telewave over here. You call them up and say you need a new face, they're not going to sell you one. They're going to want you to send the whole thing back and it's going to cost you some money. Let me tell you, you want anything, any replacement parts for this, they're going to tell you no, send it back. Horrible company. Bird is the way to go. You need a new face, they're going to send it to you. You need a new knob, they're going to send it to you. You need a new element, they're going to send it to you. Connectors, standard QC connectors as a 43, easy to swap out. You want ends on there, you want BNCs, you want whatever, they have it. This one's fixed at 500 watts from 25 to 1000 megahertz. Good unit for the basic cam that or CBeer that's not going to do over 500 watts. Great unit. Save you a ton of money in elements because you got everything right there as long as you're in that frequency range and wattage. There's no other element that you're going to replace that with. That's it right there. This is the 4410A. It will save you a crap load of money on elements. If you don't need PEP, which most people really don't, here's two elements and I'll show you why. So on average, this unit here costs you about $250. The Bird 43 will cost you on average $185. That's used. We're not going with new prices, we're going with used. So if we went with new prices, I think this is like $580. I think this is like close to $1,000, somewhere around there. The 4410A will save you a lot of money in the long run on elements. And let me tell you why. This thing here is a multiplier. This is your battery test, and you can see the battery that's in there is almost dead. It should be between this spot here, ideas all the way to the max. You'll see multiplication factors. This element here has a factor of 10. Max is 1 kilowatt. Right here, 10 times 100 is what? 1,000? So it'll do 1,000, 300, 100, 30 watts, 10 watts, 3 watts, and 1 watt. That's what this element here will do. From 25 to 80 megahertz, this would be considered like almost like an A element. If you had to buy what this element could do for a 43, it would cost you, and we're talking about used prices, let's not go with new prices, because this element here I think is around 200. A 43 would cost you about $760 worth of elements versus $200. See the savings? If you had to buy the 43 and get all the elements that this could do, it costs you $760. Plus on top of it, they don't make a 3 watt element or a 1 watt element. This will do 1,000 watts down to 1 watt. For you guys that want to run 10,000 watts, let's look at 10,000 watts. You got 10,000 here. At 3,000 watts. That's 1,000 watts. At 300 watts, 100 watts, 30 watts, and 10 watts. From 2 to 30 on a 43, they don't make a 10 watt, they don't make a 30 watt. They had the 25H, but that's like trying to find a unicorn. And if you find one now, you're going to pay $300 for it. This element here, think a $200 or $250 element, right? Used. What this could do is more than what a 43 can do, and will save you $1,000. What this element can do is $1,250 worth of work versus the 43. So this is the way to go. If you don't need PEP and you're looking for a high quality watt meter that will read a whole spectrum of a band for you fairly cheaply, very accurately. It's the #1 watt meter for the military, no joke. And if you need something like attenuation off the side of it to hook to your scope, you can add one of these to it. It's right on to the side there. You got your tap. If I was going to buy my first Bird watt meter, this is what I would buy right here. I wouldn't buy a 43. This is the way to go for your first time watt meter. You'll save so much money, you'll thank me. Way to go. No one else makes this model right here. It's the 4410A. I can't think of anything else I should really add into this video, and the only reason why I did this is a few people asked me, why is there so many different meters, what do they do, and what should I buy? And these are the PEP kits right here. This one that's made by me, this has 2x 5x in there. And then you got the OEM 4300 made by Bird. I hope helps understand the different type of watt meters that are out there. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Hopefully this helps. All right, good day.